about yourself, what you do, long before monetization and the Jake Pauls of the world came and ruined it, and demonetization and people crying about watch time. This was back in the days 2008, 2009, back when Leon Lush was uploading covers of
Raz, what up, man? Billy Lyons, what up, man? About to get it in with my homie if he decides to pop up. Oh shit! I do have a interview. I'm doing a podcast later at 9 with some dude that's all into transhumanism and trying to live forever. I don't know why in the fuck he decided to have me on his show, but I will be going in. Make Money Simmons, man. What up, man? It's been a while. So, yeah, I'm going to simulcast that podcast with the homie. And, I'm gonna do it on YouTube too, so we don't have to promote his platform. And we can see what the fuck this dude is talking about. So, until then, it is 7 o'clock. Normally we do Tuesdays from 8 to 10 for Gray Matter, but the election kind of threw that off, obviously. Clearly I had to do an election show yesterday, so while I roll the fuck up, right on time. Yo. Yo. Oh, there he is. Right on time, homie.
That's good.
You're a very punctual individual today.
You know, I do my best.
Well, while I roll the fuck up, and I'm gonna play this goddamn theme song, and then we'll jump into it. Yeah, fuck it. Time to roll the fuck up.
What a week. 333. R.I.P.P. Don P.
To say the least.
Yeah. I said, R.I.P. TV. Tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? R.I.P.P. God bless the real. Only for the righteous, the rest will go to hell. Flipping through the book of Revelation, figure it out. Transliterate the translation, do it yourself. It's the last days, life is a test and we in a cage. Concrete jungle, everyday struggle. Fuck the pain, I'm on some HNIC shit. Hegelian 3 shit. If you don't know what I mean, you was never G. Real shit, R.I.P. Yo, P, play that beat back, 333. Burn some weed, we repeat that. Shake me up a Tuka pack, break me off for 20 piece. I'm gone, never looking back. Y'all can't talk to me. R.I.P. TV, tell the homie. Mob Deep Mondays, that's everyday, thoughty. It's all for the community. That's what P showed me. We lost without the unity. Where the fuck is the OGs? Like the weed, play some IMD for me. It's hell on earth for real, but y'all don't wanna see paper trail politics. All the shit was prophecy, strictly for the family. Peace to the prodigy. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skilly, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. R.I.P.P. I sleep when it's time for me. Dope dreams bring the skilly, pour the Hennessy. Searching for some inner peace, couple hundred G's. Deadly weapons and some weed just for you and me. Yo.
Word, just some weed for just me. I've been burning it down lately, homie. What up, yo?
Pumped.
So since this is a sports show and we don't dive into politics, we will not talk about that shit one goddamn second. We talk about football, homie. Clearly, you know, I mean, it was a weird week. This was a weird week.
It was. I mean, but we said that from the beginning.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. You can kind of feel it. Just you see the matchups, and it's weird because like it's becoming a whole week long thing. Like every matchup is kind of fucking weird, right? And then like the week before that, they were almost guarantees. We knew who was going to win. The week before that, they were excellent games. The week before that, they were all trash mashups.
Yeah.
And it's been really odd. So I've been enjoying more freestyle in these conversations, like it's a real conversation instead of having like a bunch of notes like I'm some sort of fucking sports host. It makes it way funnier. So the first thing I'm going to bring up, did you see Bill Belichick's press conference after that shellacking they took?
Yeah.
That's new.
I haven't seen Bill like that before.
That's new.
Yeah.
You're talking to a Patriots fan. I've seen every press conference. I've never seen that happen before.
That's different. That was different.
I ain't mad at what he said, though.
He's speaking the truth.
Yeah, for those of you who missed the press conference, Bill Belichick, when asked why his team sucks, basically said, well, we spent $1 million on Cam Newton. We have no money. We sold out with the salary cap over the last 5 years, won 3 Super Bowls, went to another, and another AFC championship. What do you want me to do? And when he said that, I was just like, oh, he's kind of right. You can't be mad. Like, they sold out for what they thought was the closing of Tom Brady's window and won 3 more chips. So, whatever.
Kudos. I mean, and so I see what he's doing now. He's kicking the tires on some practice squad players from in the division, which always seem to work out well for him, i.e. Wes Welker. So I'm actually interested to see what this new receiver can do.
Yeah, this Ford kid. Not only that, this is very Belichickian because it's just like, all right, we're going to suck this year anyway, and Pats have almost $30 million in cap space next season. So this team next year, along with the returning 8 players who decide to opt out, is going to look remarkably different. Dude. So do you think this kind of mirrors, and we'll use COVID as David Robinson's injury, this kind of you know exactly what I'm talking about. This kind of mirrors the Spurs situation where they were a title contender. David Robinson gets hurt. They suck. They get the number 1 overall pick, get Tim Duncan. He comes in, they just start winning chips.
Their leading scorer that year was 38-year-old Dominique Wilkins.
Oh, my God.
Who was actually balling.
he was balling because he had to. Sean Elliott wasn't helping him. None.
He was it. He was the only cat they had on that squad.
It's kind of looking like that because you already know Cam is not coming back in New England. That was a $1 million gamble.
Well, listen, if I'm Belichick, I let Cameron Newton finish the season. He's been out. Like, let him play. See if he can catch on with another squad. Hey, Cam, regardless of where he's at right now, is still going to give you something. Like, he's the best runner, especially at the quarterback position on that team. And I mean, he does have an arm. He's inaccurate, but also who's he throwing to? So I would keep him in there. I mean, I wouldn't put that dumpster fire Jarrett Stidham.
Oh my God, is that kid terrible?
Terrible. I just wouldn't. And then you already know what you got with Brian Hoyer. So
the GM, they took a polling, or not a polling, but a sample size of anonymous GMs because nobody wants to talk about the hoodie face to face. And the overwhelming thing was, they don't got nobody, blah 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 blah. They'll be fine next year. And then it got to the very last quote, and it said, "Name 1 Patriots draft pick that has started a Pro Bowl." Go. And it was just like, yeah, they're not very good at drafting. They are very good at getting talent from other teams and maximizing them.
Yeah, that's what they do.
They are
That's what
not
they do.
good at drafting, and they never really have been ever since Scott Pioli left.
Right.
After Pioli and that whole front office went and got other jobs.
I mean, the only real like
Dante Hightower, that's it.
yeah, I was gonna say him, and then also you had a couple of linemen, offensive.
Logan
linemen.
Mankins, Rob Gronkowski, Scarface before he went on a murder spree. They
He had the worst case of CTE ever recorded in the history of man.
ever. And you wonder why he was out there wilding the fuck out. But yeah, like you said, you can't fault Cam for having absolutely no one to throw it to.
Word.
And this is one thing that I always talked about Tom Brady on the level of excellence is he's even accurate on incomplete passes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's only going to throw it in a spot where maybe his receiver will catch it, and that's it. There's not even a chance. And people like Cam, they don't do that shit. They're just throwing picks when they're
'Cause,
inaccurate.
people like Cam, who the curse of having a rocket for an arm is that you believe you can fit everything in there in the tightest of spaces, and so that could be to your detriment.
See, there's a difference between Cam's arm and Patrick Mahomes' arm. Patrick Mahomes has the Aaron Rodgers arm where he could throw a strawberry through a freight train, is the old country statement for a strong-arm quarterback. But they also have the touch to lob it and put it in places. Cam I'm just flinging that shit.
And then also look at quarterbacks who are also baseball players. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray. They have a different Patrick Mahomes. They have a different sort of arm strength and accuracy than non-baseball playing.
And
quarterbacks.
you know what's dope about baseball? It's the only sport where it really does this. I guess football kind of, but not anymore. With baseball, if you're a pitcher as a kid, when it's not your day to pitch, you're not in the bullpen just sitting there. You're playing shortstop or second base or something. You're just the best athlete on the field. So playing in the infield, which is what most pitchers are going to do on their off days, they're not going to go out into the outfield.
Right.
Playing shortstop, second, third base, that gives them those little tosses, sidearm, all that stuff. And like we've said it for about, what are we, in week 8? We just finished up week 8. We've said it for 9 weeks in a row now. This is going to make all these kids watching Patrick Mahomes State Farm commercials start doing what he did when he was a kid.
Hell yeah. And his father played baseball, was part of the Mets organization.
I'm all for it because I really dislike the specialization of youth sports. No, my kid's a quarterback. He's going to be a quarterback. What?
Play everything. Play everything.
Play it all because you know what, Carrie? I grew up doing nothing but playing basketball. I never even played football until junior high, but once I put on a helmet, it was over. I ended up going to college to play football.
Exactly.
So
I did the same. I played basketball first. Basketball was the first thing I ever played, and then I played stickball in the neighborhood.
I know playing basketball definitely made me a better slot receiver. As being a point guard, it allowed me to operate in space.
It definitely made me a better DB, a defender.
Yeah.
That feet work.
And then, even vice versa, playing corner definitely makes you a better on-ball defender by far.
Mm-hmm.
So it's real interesting. That was the first time I've ever seen the hoodie have a moment like that, where he was just like, hey, listen, man, like, we can't even look on to next week. This is what it is. What it is.
It's on to 2021.
Yeah, we're on to 2021. Yo, if he starts saying that, I'm all on board, man. I'm all on board.
Like real fans will get it. Like people who know the game, they'll get it.
I mean, Jesus Christ, 20 years, 17 division titles, 9 Super Bowl appearances. Like, they're allowed to have an off year.
Right.
See, now the test with Belichick's coaching ability, to me, the answer of is it more Tom Brady or Belichick can't be answered this year. You can see it for Tom Brady, but he also has an absolutely loaded team around him. But he is out there throwing dimes.
And nobody opted out.
Nobody.
Nobody opted out.
So I think
people back in, people unretired. So
yeah, I think with Belichick, you're gonna have to look at like next year when the roster's back, and he has somebody to throw to because N'Keal Harry is a bust. Get him out of here. You know, it's just they keep whiffing. Josh Dobson or Aaron Dobson from Marshall, he was a bum. Kimbrell Tompkins,
Thomas, whatever his name was.
had the one kid from Georgia that
Oh yeah, now he was good.
he just got hurt and ended his career.
Hurt.
Career ender after that Super Bowl. He never played again. Malcolm,
Oh shit, not
no, Butler's the defender. It was Malcolm something. But yo, he had like 80 yards in the Super Bowl as a rookie.
Yeah, no, he was good. So not Malcolm Brown.
Is it Mitchell?
Mitchell.
Yeah.
There it is. Malcolm Mitchell.
Yeah, he's and that's just
Quick.
very, very good route runner, great possession receiver.
Yeah, they had one there.
But then you go and look at all of the not just the misses on people that they have picked. To me, the more egregious crime with their front office is the people that they didn't pick that were sitting there over the years.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like every fucking year. It's every year I hit you during the draft. I'm just like, oh, we did it first and second round every single time. I don't even know who this is. Trust the hoodie. That's all my only response.
Yeah, when he reached for Jarrett Stidham, because that was a draft pick, not a free agent signee. I was like, what did he see that the rest of us didn't see? Because in college, that was Kerryon Johnson's team. They ran the rock. When they had to get third down, Kerryon Johnson had the ball. They weren't relying on Jarrett Stidham.
Kerry, you remember, and they're very vivid memories, all of the big plays during Stidham's career. All the highlight plays were all tips in the air that randomly one of his players caught and went. I guess it happened against Alabama. It happened against LSU. It happened against who else did it happen? It happened like 4 times during his career that were especially that Alabama one.
Yep. And then don't they have? I don't know. It's sort of similar. Like even though I'll give him a little bit more accuracy. Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
I think he's on Buffalo now.
Yeah.
But look at who Jake Fromm had. He had studs. He was loaded.
And this
Sony Michelle and Chubb Rock.
And this is what I say that the curse, Jimmy P, what up, homie? This is what I say that the curse of Alabama quarterbacks is, just like the curse of Ohio State quarterbacks has always been. Because you look at the history of Ohio State skill players that have come out, none of them have been megastars. They have all been like number 2 receivers that are really good.
Except Joey Galloway and Terry Glenn.
Yeah.
Those are the top line.
So you go after Terry Glenn and Galloway. From that moment all the way up to Michael Thomas, they were all like Chris Gamble, David Boston, like number 2s that would show up in the stat book and show up on the highlight reels because they're catching a bomb or something, and David Boston, one of his veins burst in his forearm or something on the field.
That dude turned into a fucking house. He should have went to the UFC because he ceased to become a wide receiver. He turned from a wide receiver to a defensive end.
Yeah, he lifted himself right out of the league. So you got to look at Alabama, what they've been doing. Dude, they are just pumping out the best receivers in the country.
Absolutely.
Hand over fist.
And running backs. If you remember, Kenyon Drake was a third stringer on that Alabama team that won the national chip. He barely got in. He played special teams and was a third string running back. And now he's a 5-year vet doing workout in Arizona.
Yeah, their lineage of wide receivers that have been coming out is just stud after stud, and they're so polished. They're so NFL ready. That's what's blowing my mind. Because even DK Metcalf,
offensive line too.
Offensive
line.
DK Metcalf took a year to adjust to the NFL and figure it out, and he really worked in the offseason. You can tell because he took a huge leap. But these Alabama receivers are coming in.
He still had a pretty decent rookie campaign just because off of physical tools alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so these these rookie wide receivers are incredible, and they do pump out a lot of linebackers too.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one thing fail...
Safety.
Yes, but their corners are always hyped up as, like, shutdown corners, and none of them pan out.
No. Who was that? Drake Kilpatrick? He's still in the league, but he's like, he wasn't as good as advertised.
No, you've seen a bunch of quarters, later round quarters, have longer careers and solidify themselves. Malcolm Butler, undrafted, multiple Pro Bowls, Super Bowls, you know.
I would say the difference between the Alabama safeties and the LSU safeties is the LSU safeties actually can cover. They'll hit you, but they can cover. Safeties never really know how to cover. They'll come thump, but they never.
Well,
really
that right there goes down to that's got to be recruiting. That's got to be like the defensive coordinator and this that because the D coordinator in Alabama is going to move a lot. He's going to get other jobs somewhere. But those secondaries and linebacker coaches, those guys stay there for a while.
Sure.
So they're
philosophy. It's a philosophy thing.
It is a philosophy thing because they're constantly big guys that are laying the wood. But you're right, those LSU guys will knock you out, but they're also going to pick it off.
Absolutely.
And of course, the quintessential example is the Honey Badger.
Of course, easy.
And Ryan Clark, because Ryan Clark.
Say Ryan Clark too, because Ryan Clark would knock your ass out, but he'll also pick it off.
Yeah, and I couldn't wait for him to become an analyst. He was the best player who was still playing guest appearance on any sports show, hands down.
Easily.
So the other thing surrounding that, hot topic. The Red Rocket has tested positive for COVID. And Jerry Jones said, yo, fuck Ben DiNucci. You suck, dude. You're not starting. We're going to start our practice squad player against Pittsburgh's defense.
I mean, listen. I don't know when Jerry be getting those facelifts, if they lift a piece of his brain too, because he is bugging. He is wilding out. Like, he is wild. First of all, he still hasn't said shit about Dak. He doesn't give a shit about Dak. No, it didn't stick up for Red Rocket. He's like, oh, well, get out there and get Rona if you want. Ben DiNucci was doing all he could. Listen, Ben DiNucci, a guy like that, you wonder how he even made it into the NFL. But you're like, okay, he played the game. He did his best. He did the best he could. You know what I mean? And they were in that game. I mean, Dallas was playing hard. They were playing hard. And if it wasn't for a couple of breaks, they could have easily swung in the other direction.
See, but this is one of my betting theories. Is if you have like a third string quarterback or somebody, especially the quarterback position above all others, that the team has to rally around it. You do have a talented team because Dallas's roster is absolutely loaded.
If you remember, Tony Romo was a third string because they had Quincy Carter and who else and some other cat. And then they ended up getting Drew Bledsoe.
Yep.
So they had Drew Bledsoe, Quincy Carter, and Tony Romo was third string. So. You never know.
Nah, but that's always at the eye test, and especially with the way that Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow are playing right now. These quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, there's going to be an awful short leash on them, Kerry. You've got, even if the team sucks, they're going to be like, well, these kids are doing it. Because, look, the Chargers suck. They keep losing, but you can see it when you watch this kid like, uh-oh.
And before I forget, third string QB of all time. Brett Favre.
Yes. What was Steve? What
Atlanta to Green Bay? I was like, ooh, Green Bay got one.
So what was Steve Young when he first got into the league? Because I know he came out super hyped and he went to the USFL first, so he probably started immediately for.
He was also on Tampa Bay.
That's what I'm saying. He started for the Bucks, but when he went to San Francisco, was he right behind Montana, or was there someone else?
He was, because it was him, and then it was Steve Bono. So Steve Bono was the third string.
Yeah.
Bono had a pretty decent career once, he got to Kansas City.
Yeah, see, that's another player. He just, he just got it put into a bad quarterback room. You got two Hall of Famers, top. Yeah,
Steve Bono gets his shot earlier. Who knows with his career? Look at Rich Gannon, another cat who was a perennial backup, third string on some teams. When he got older and he finally got his shot, took Oakland to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He had two Hall of Fame receivers and a pretty damn good running game with Charlie Garner.
And who is proven to be a very excellent game planner in John Gruden. So, all right, so let's...
Especially now on his comeback. I think he needed that time away and to do all the other things he was doing. The Fired Football Coaches Association and working with a lot of quarterbacks. So he's gotten to see all these quarterbacks, every last quarterback that's playing in the league. He's gotten to see every last one.
He also evolved his gameplay, which I will give him a lot of credit for. Fozzie Bear, what up, man? Yo, you're a football head, homie. Head over to the YouTube link so you can hear us talk about this shit. Yeah, he's definitely a football head, so I'll give him credit on that. So, let's run through some of these nonsense games. Oh, I should have said this first of all, homie. Congratulations on your outright victory this week.
All right.
Even though I did pick some really good ones, I just...
Oh, you did. I'm not going front.
I will tell you, we're both smashing it right now, but this week has pulled you in to within 5 games, and we're only halfway through the year, so it is going to be a tight one.
Call it a comeback.
It is going to be a tight one. So, Atlanta, that was an easy game. As well as Carolina does play in spurts, the roster is just not competitive enough.
Yeah, they have no offensive line. Poor Teddy was getting crushed back there. And that piece of shit defensive lineman who damn near decapitated him, I was like, what's the point? Like, what was the point of that? Really? What was the point?
Well, you see, there's a lot of mental health issues going on with the roadie, and then you got this nonsense going on politically. It seems to be spilled out on the field because we'll talk about some other incidences that I know you already know what I'm talking about.
Oh, hell yeah.
Later on, because what the fuck?
You see, and like Mike Davis couldn't get going. The thing though, like Teddy, like people play hard for Teddy.
Yeah.
And they did have some plays. They missed a couple of long balls there that really could have changed the game for them. But I mean, I give credit to Atlanta. They said, we're going to get the ball to our stud receiver, Julio Jones, and there's nothing you can do about it.
All right, so here's my question on that. Do you think that they're kind of like, well, they didn't trade him. Trade line's dead and over. But now it's going to look, I know he's locked in for the next couple years, so they're probably going to try to trade him in the offseason.
Oh, I don't think so. Let me tell you something. They saw what Houston did in trading D-Hop, and they said and how Houston, the city, turned on the team. And there's no coaching staff that's going to go in there and then trade Julio Jones.
They would be easier socially in Atlanta to get rid of Matt Ryan, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
100%. But I would just like to see, I would have loved to have seen Julio go up to Green Bay for the rest of this season and have him and Devontae running around.
God, that would be ridiculous.
Because if you have Devontae, then Julio doesn't actually have to be a number 1.
Exactly. Imagine Julio a number 2.
I don't have to run routes. I just have to run fast. Yo, I'm all day up the seam. Let's go linebackers and safeties.
You'll have Aaron Rodgers would redo his deal and try to play till he's 50. Yeah.
I would be mad if I was Adam Lazard and
and Scandalous.
Scandalous. But yeah, that would have been fun to watch. That would have been real fun to watch. And once again, so like I said, we're a freewheeling conversation from these points out. So speaking of that, once again, Green Bay does not pull the trigger to get a once in a league-wide talent quarterback. Like, this isn't even a generational thing. No one's ever going to have his arm talent again. Even Patrick Mahomes is not going to be able to do the things that he does. Right? So why are they not helping this dude? Like, I know that the GM wants to build the team in his image and make it his team and all that dumb shit, but yo, you know what people remember? Those Super Bowl fucking trophies, you idiots.
I remember when they had the GM was Ron Wolf, and they got receivers. I mean, how do you go from Sterling Sharp, okay? Who else? Who's the skinny dude?
All right, so they had Sterling Sharp. They had
Antonio
Freeman. They had 2 stud tight ends. Mark Chimera until he got that pedo case when he was with his daughter's friends and shit in the hot tub.
The babysitter was
the babysitter and shit. And then Bubba Franks, when he first came out, was a beast with Brett Favre. Donald Driver early in his career. The very beginnings of Greg Jennings' career.
Yes, absolutely.
Dude, just
Hand catcher.
I love people, and Aaron Rodgers said it last week on his segment with Pat McAfee, because Pat asked him if somebody, he's like, you always talk about hands. He's like, what's the difference? And he said if somebody uses their hands to catch, their catch radius is so much bigger than a body catcher, so then there's so much more opportunities.
Doing alligator arms, like
you know how small that window is in the NFL if that's all you have to work with. And he said, so if somebody catches with their hands, especially in clutch moments, I'm just going to throw it to him. So,
you know who was the worst at that? And it was a shame because he was actually nice in college. He went to NC State. Todd Pinkston.
Oh,
He's 6'4", arm long as 7-foot wingspan, catching like this because he was scared to get his ass fucking torn up.
yeah, so they don't go and get Aaron Rodgers any help. And there was a debate within the Green Bay's management. They were trying really hard to get Will Fuller.
Right.
And I don't know. See, that would work because Devontae is such a stud. So Will Fuller can just run fast and down the field. Just be Jordy Nelson again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then...
Jordy. Ugh.
Oh, my God. And so then they said that they were ready to pull the trigger, but the upper decision makers in Green Bay said no. And that's got to be GM. Because there is no full-out ownership, so that's the GM.
Right, people own the team.
So why wouldn't he do that? That is incredible to me.
Especially considering the Ronnie Rones, and they've been beat up. I mean, Green Bay this year has been a beat-up squad.
Devontae Adams has missed a couple games.
That's what I'm saying. Now Aaron Jones is out. Jamal Wilkins looks like he got Rona. Lazard, after his best game of his career, out.
Their best lineman, the white dude, Bakhtiari or whatever his name is,
Bakhtiari.
he's been out.
Yep. So I don't get why you don't do that.
All right, so here's another Green Bay question for you. They really suck against the run. All right, in the NFC Championship, San Francisco had 186 yards or something retarded before contact.
Right.
So that is also gone on to prove true again this year. They really suck against the run. Their interior defense is really soft. So
Dallas gave the Giants their best interior linebacker and Blake Martinez.
So Dallas cuts Dontari Poe.
Mm-hmm.
And Green Bay has still not made a call yet to this guy. Even if it's true that he's lazy and whatnot, he's still 380 pounds. Just make him stand there.
I was just about to say, that's still 380. Good luck moving him.
He still would be more effective than what you have right now. And I do believe since Dallas cut him, salary and contract-wise, that they might be on the hook for part of his salary if somebody else would pick him up for the rest of this season and whatnot. So financially, it's not even a big risk.
He would come at a discount double check.
Yeah, and then that's another workout to see if you can sign him on a cheap deal, even for a prove-it deal 1 year next year. It is Dontari Poe, and this is a 400-pound man who ran a 4.9 or something retarded. Like, you can't tell me that man is lazy, because if he is, I want to see what motivated is out of that.
I remember his college days. He was so widely regarded that he even got like a couple of Heisman votes. This dude was like a big time player
at Memphis.
Exactly.
Playing D nose guard. Like, come on. So I don't understand why they didn't make that move. They continue to befuddle me.
Also, you have to consider the locker room culture in Dallas, which especially after Dak, who's gone, forget it, who's done. So it's a way different situation in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers. So I think he goes there, and they got some strong leadership on the defense. They're just not a good defense, but they got strong leadership on defense. So I think he would fit in great there.
All right, so let's continue this ADHD conversation. Speaking of done at quarterback, Jimmy G, it's over for him in San Francisco. It's a wrap.
Man, I think he's done for sure. And I mean, I don't see why. This is the situation. I mean, I know they're saying that Matt Ryan still has years left on his Atlanta contract, and they'll probably try to keep him there. But I could easily see him teaming back up with Shanahan and going to San Francisco. I mean, because we've seen what Jimmy G can do.
All right, so here,
weak ankles. His ankles weaker than rookie Steph Curry's ankles.
all right, so let me throw out a plausible scenario and an alternate reality. Say they can just swap the two. Say McDaniels, my theory that McDaniels goes down to Atlanta still pans out even though Cam sucks, and they just swap them. Jimmy G, somehow work it pick-wise, future picks, whatever. Get Atlanta over, Matt Ryan out of Atlanta and back with Shanahan in San Francisco. And if they're healthy, just Matt Ryan playing just a game manager quarterback, they're going to make it into the playoffs because the roster's loaded. So then you get
talk about a team who knows how to draft.
Oh my God,
John Lynch knows what he is doing.
Yes, he is. He's the new Ozzie Newsome.
He knows what he is doing. He's the best.
So yeah, so then you get Jimmy G back with McDaniels down in Atlanta. And that would be his last opportunity before people will be like, yeah, he just can't stay healthy. Now, listen, it happens. It's not even a talent thing. It's not a desire thing. When I got to college, I just couldn't stop getting hurt.
Yep.
Like, I had 3 major, it just wouldn't stop happening. And it happens in the league. Jimmy G, it just happens. And it's weird because most of his injuries are just like, look, his ankle got rolled up amongst some linemen. Like, come on.
I mean, look at Jordan Reed. Everyone for years have been talking about how talented this guy is. Imagine if he stays healthy, Jordan Reed would be in the same. I remember back in the day, he was in the same conversation with Gronk. Like, that dude is good, but you get 1 concussion, you get 15 concussions. I mean, this dude just was just like.
And trust me, every one after the first one is easier than the one before. They just happen so easy.
Exactly.
So that's I asked you last week about that. That's another player that I would have loved to have seen that just had a healthy career.
Mm-hmm.
You know, amongst everybody's answer will always, for the history of football, be Bo Jackson.
Yeah, no doubt.
And now Odell because of his multiple big injuries. And then for me personally, because I am a migraine sufferer, Lord have Percy, would I have loved to have seen what he could have done healthy.
You know who I failed to mention? Andrew Luck.
Yeah, that's another one.
I was like, man, that dude.
He
got respect from the other defenses because they didn't really know what to think of this guy. It's like, this guy's a fucking dweeb, but we lay the wood on him, and he thanks us. He helps us out. Like, what? What is that? And then he comes back and he throws a touchdown. Like,
see, we forget about his injury shortened. What injuries did to him because he was able to go 8-9 years, and he still played at a MVP level.
Yes,
I would say that Andrew Luck is he's the Grant Hill of the NFL. He still had a Hall of Fame
track, and then you just like, damn.
It still might
injury.
could sneak in 30 years down the road on some, like.
The last time he's on the ballot.
Yeah, like the writers put him in there and shit because they feel bad for him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be mad at it because my criteria for the Hall of Fame is when they talk about the history of the game, do they say your name? In that time period, you're going to say his name. You have to.
It was like him and RG3, and then once the Shanahans destroyed RG3, it was just.
Yeah, so
I would have loved to see what RG3 would have been able to do because he was Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson, but with a better arm.
Way more accurate, extremely accurate downfield. But see, that's another thing that you also people. I'm going to take a point off of RG3's potential because his receivers at Baylor were all studs. All of them.
Okay, I'll give you that. Yes, and he did have Josh Gordon, and I'll give you that. But you also have to remember, RG3 had multiple ACL tears, and he kept coming back, and he kept doing his thing, and he kept running, and he somehow did not lose speed.
All right, so here's the weird thing about him, Kerry. That's mismanagement about the people around him because he had the arm talent that he didn't have to run to still succeed. Cam has to run,
Yes.
right? RG3's arm talent, he was so accurate, especially deep.
Yes.
His deep ball was like Russell Wilson's.
Deep ball. Yeah, he was a great deep ball passer.
So yeah, very interesting on that one. It's weird, but these GMs don't make decisions. This is why I always talked about with you for years. In another reality, we could have teamed up and been the GM of some team because these people make retarded decisions. They have absolutely no clue. They don't watch football. They don't. You know, you have to have played it. That's why John Lynch is killing it right now.
Oh, he is killing.
Because not only did he play, that's a Hall of Fame caliber player.
Hall of Fame caliber player. You know he's smart as shit because he went to Stanford. So, you know what I'm saying? And he thumps. I mean, he was a hardcore player. You know what I'm saying? He played with other Hall of Famers. And so you know what that looks like, not only on game day, but in every single practice.
Especially his ability to absolutely thump. And if you're younger and you don't know about John Lynch, just go YouTube him. He was out there knocking people out.
And also picking the ball off.
And people would the other players respected him no matter what because he was going to knock you out.
Mm-hmm.
Knockout status.
This is during a time where you didn't have white safeties. They just weren't there. You really didn't have barely any white secondary at all.
White safeties in the league can thank John Lynch because they were like, all right, you know what? He's not that fast.
Eric Weddle, damn sure thanks him.
Yeah, they might not be that fast, but they're smart. They can cover, and they will absolutely knock you out.
Mm-hmm.
Another one that I would have.
Sorensen in KC.
The other one that I wish that he would have had a full, healthy career, Bob Sanders. Shout out to Bob Sanders. 5'8" defensive player of the year. Go get it.
When Bob Sanders comes back off of injury, Indianapolis Colts go to the Super Bowl and win.
Instantaneously.
Period, point blank. Period. And this is a team that had Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney. I get all that. When Bob Sanders came back on that team, that defense was unstoppable.
This is how good Bob Sanders was. Not only was he 5'8", all right, so it's like Steve Smith's size. We see there's players that are that size that will physically dominate. But Kerry just mentioned it. You have two Hall of Fame defensive ends. Two of them played at the same time. And you are the defensive player of the year at safety at 5'8". That's how good he was. But his body could not take the collisions, and he just kept getting hurt.
Yep.
Because he was rocking people.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
I love Bob Sanders, man.
If you just go Bob Sanders, Missouri, and see what he did in college, oh, my God. He made kids quit. He made kids like, I don't want your scholarship, coach. Forget it. I'm done.
The funny thing is he was so dope that you have to say his full name every time. It's Bob Sanders.
That's right.
It's like Bob Orry. It's not, it's Bob Orry. It's Bob Sanders. Love that dude, man. Love that dude. So let's move on to New England because that's the first game on the schedule or on the slate, and we could talk about how that would have been an easy one to guess that New England was going to cover the spread because the hoodie's just they're not going to get blown out like that. And the hoodie does have McDermott's number. They've beaten Buffalo like 7 billion times in a row. And Cam fumbling at the end there within field goal range, driving for a touchdown. At minimum, they would have tied and gone to overtime, but they were driving and could have won. And this is where you miss Tom Brady because Tom Brady doesn't turn the ball over there. They go down, score, and win. That's just the way it is.
But also, Tom wouldn't have been running like that. They wouldn't have called that play. So, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Cam's always had fumbling issues. He always carries it out.
Yeah.
And you will notice he, as he did on this one, he always carries the ball in the wrong hand.
He did. He carried it on the inside instead of the outside.
It's always in his right. He never switches to his left.
But I will give credit in that, I mean, outside of that fumble, did play better. New England played better as a whole. But, I mean, the Bills, they're just better at this point.
Well, yeah, their roster's way better. Josh Allen has kind of definitely removed himself from the MVP conversation over the last few weeks. But they continue to win. For New England, Damian Harris, that was a good pickup. He's, as long as he stays healthy, he's a beast.
Like the only one so far, like Sony Michel, it's looking like a very disappointing pick.
No, I will counter argue on that because Sony Michel was very pivotal in a Super Bowl victory and a title run, so it was worth it.
I get that, but I mean, so I'll counter your counter with when they had Antoine Smith. Like Antoine Smith could have easily been the Super Bowl MVP, that first one, and then they went back again, and then they got Corey Dillon.
Clock killing Corey Dillon.
They got these vets who just like, okay, we're gonna have you for a couple of years. You're gonna do your thing, but you have a young back in Sony Michel. Like he's too young at this stage of his career to not still be a dominant force.
You know what? I'll tell you exactly. As a Patriot,
they do the committee shit, but still, like he hasn't separated himself from the rest of the pack.
Well, as a Patriots fan, I've got to watch a lot of Sony Michel, and I will tell you exactly why he is not succeeding and will not succeed in the NFL. This man has the shortest stride of any running back I have ever seen in my life. His steps are so short. He literally cannot get up to full speed. If he breaks past the line of scrimmage, he's not getting you 20, 30, 40. It will never happen. His longest runs of the year are like 8, 12, 16 yards.
Whereas you see Nicky Chubb-Rock, he is a problem.
Yeah. And that's another player that we passed right up.
With full force and speed and good luck. Good luck.
And also, Sony Michel, he's a little bit of a vertical runner, right? So if you're taking very short steps in your vertical, you have no leverage coming down. He's not even falling forward. It's not going to work. That was a bad pick.
Think about this running back room. Nick Chubb-Rock, Sony Michel, DeAndre Swift, who was a true freshman. That's what they had at Georgia. And so now you're seeing, DeAndre Swift is getting more of an opportunity in Detroit, and he's doing his thing. Outside of that one drop in the end zone that could have won the Lions the game earlier in the season, when he's gotten the opportunity, he's taken advantage of his opportunity, and it's good to see.
So we did discuss this one, and we both went against our guts again, homie.
No.
Cincy and Tennessee, I wanted to pick Cincy straight up. I didn't even care what the spread was. Straight up.
Being here, I wanted to pick
It just felt like if you know football, you know momentum as far as the season goes. And right now, those two teams are going in opposite directions. That is for sure. And I knew that no matter the scenario, Joey Bag of Donuts was going to keep them in the game at the end.
That's what he does. Joey Boy Band got those hits. He got those B-side hits that are slept on, but you better listen again because that album is fire.
Yo, so who would you rather start a team with?
Out of who?
Herbert or Joey Bag of Donuts?
Man, I gotta tell you. Here's the thing.
See, it's a tough decision.
Here's the thing. Joey Boy Band took a team that, if you look at them now, LSU is Garbaggio. Go undefeated in that tough of a conference, bring them back multiple times, run for third down conversions, throw for third down conversions. Like, this dude wins. When he took his first loss in the NFL, he was like, "Yeah, I don't even understand what this is." It's been 3 years since homie had caught a loss.
Yo, I don't think he had ever lost his whole career. High school.
He was like, I don't even know what this is. I don't like this shit. I'm gonna make sure we don't do that. So you have a guy who is determined at all costs not to lose. Now Herbert, physical tools out the ass, smart ass dude. Could have easily become a doctor. Smart dude. Physical tools, 6'4", 6'5", can run, strong, will throw that rock, doesn't give a shit. But again, just like when he was in college, it was like questioned if he was even like that passionate about football. There's been guys who have skills, no doubt, but it's just like, yeah, I could just do this. Versus guys who have some skills, but then what takes them to the next level is their passion. And I just Joey Boyband as a captain, as a rookie quarterback. The vets were like, "Yup, yeah, we down with that." I mean,
so all right, so it really comes down to, do you want? Because Joey Bag of Donuts is clutch, man. He's clutch, and that doesn't grow on trees. That is so rare. I'm Tom Brady's biggest fan ever, so I'm taking Joey Bag of Donuts because I want clutch.
See what I'm saying?
I want it when it counts the most. But
look at these Chargers who have leads.
Blew another one this week.
Just keep blowing them.
So, with Herbert, though, I think, see, this is where gray matter, this is where me and Kerry got to start, like, a talent agency or whatever and become a GM somehow. If I were the GM of them, I wouldn't even attempt to make Herbert a captain or the leader, because that's just not what he does.
Not who he is.
So, I would get a defensive leader who's going to be the man, have him be the voice of the team and all that shit, and allow them to do that. And then, all right, so I understand Herbert. I don't think that he doesn't have passion to play the game. He's just not one of the, you just don't see it. All right, so if someone would tell me, all right, man, he's late to meetings, he doesn't watch extra film, he's not in his playbook, that's not passion for the game. If he's still doing all of that and he's just not celebrating and being rah-rah and being, he just might not be that leader.
Well, you also
but boy, can that kid fucking play football, man.
Eli was my quarterback for years and years and years. I mean, you talk about a cat that you were like, is Eli even alive? It's like, so did he do good or did he do bad? No one knows. You just looked at his face, the same expression all the time. But there was moments where he knew he did something good. He'll give you a little, he'll give you a little one of these. You know what I mean? But so I do get it. I absolutely get it. But Eli had the advantage of having a Michael Strahan.
That's what I'm saying. You need somebody on the other side that can dominate the locker room.
Pierce. He had strong personalities on defense. And yeah, Eli was also the quarterback. But, he had that, especially when he first came into the league. I mean, Herbert has it in Joey Bosa, kind of. Melvin Ingram has been more banged up this year, so he hasn't really been around. But I mean, Joey Bosa is also not like a really gregarious guy.
All right, so who's the GM of the Chargers? We know Spanos is the owner. Who's the fucking GM?
Spanos is the owner. I don't know.
All right, so whoever the GM for the Chargers is, if I'm if I have his job, you know what I'm doing?
You're out there trying to get
J.J. Watt.
Ooh.
Let him come be the leader of the team for the tail end of his career. Play some meaningful football.
Ooh.
He's already rich. He won't need a $100 million deal.
No.
And
if you're looking at the roster, you have to look, and that roster situation is way better in Los Angeles, and that's also Los Angeles.
And there wouldn't be so much on him because you've got those two absolute studs at the outside. And now you have J.J. Watt, who has displayed absolute versatility along the front line.
Can go right to D-tackle easily.
So now you got Ingram and Bosa, who also are athletic and young enough to be versatile. So now you can move them up and down. It would create chaos out there.
You can do just what the Giants did with their NASCAR package.
Exactly. So
because Tuck played inside, Tuck played outside. You had OC, you had Strahan. They were just moving guys around.
Won 2 Super Bowls against the greatest team of all time. I mean, I watched it happen twice, heartbreakingly. So Kerry, that's the first thing I would do. I would go and be like, JJ, what do you need? Because just for the locker room itself, not even the on-field play, the locker room alone, I would bring him in.
And I'm telling you, it would change the dynamic of that defense, because now you're just not going to be giving up those leads like that.
Speaking of the Chargers, they did trade one of my most underrated players in the NFL. I'm high right now, and I can't really remember who they just traded to, but Desmond King. That was interesting because their secondary is not that great, so I was wondering why the fuck they got rid of him.
don't know, but this guy was good.
Yeah. Not only that, he's also an all-pro level special teams player.
He's an
So
all-pro level dude, because he's a returner too.
all-pro returner, but he's one of the best nickel corners in the NFL. So I can't really understand why they did that unless they know, all right, we're 1-6 at this point. We're out of it. We're not really into it. Let's just start building around Herbert and let's just start going into the future. So they're just going to start shedding shit. So they are, and dude, if I'm a young GM, that would be the job that I would want, because you do have Bosa and Ingram and now Herbert, and you've got Keenan Allen and Ty Williams. They have got a lot of young talent, and you're in LA.
They got Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, not Ty Williams. So you're looking at a lot of the key positions. You are very young, and Austin Eckler, if he stays healthy, can really play. So
I mean, you also got Hunter Henry.
So
I mean, I talk about another guy who can't stay healthy, but who, when he is healthy,
and if he does come back on the field healthy, Derwin James, because we forget about him because he got hurt. Oh my God! So
King went to the Titans.
Yeah. So that's odd that.
Really good for them.
That's great for them, and Vrabel and whoever their GM.
They needed him because Adoree Jackson, I think, is still hurt.
Yeah, but no, they're making all the right moves, though. That's another organization that's making all the proper moves.
That's a smart move for them. That's a great move for them.
Yeah, I have to think that San Diego, the Chargers, that the Chargers are basically gearing up for the future right now by letting that happen, because that was weird. I was thinking the only other player that's out there that is a defensive, I have the hardware, listen to me, but I don't think he's that type of leader, would be Gilmore, because the Pats were trying to get rid of him. But he's not that. He doesn't have the leadership that J.J. Watt does.
Nah, he doesn't.
J.J. Watt's the perfect player for them to go get to take the pressure off of Herbert to have to lead and just let the kid play.
Okay, so I'm telling you what happened. So you know my brain. I have things in the frontal cortex and things always working in the back. So like cats who we wanted to see play more. When you brought up Stephon Gilmore, so Stephon Gilmore coming out of high school was also a highly touted running back, and so when he went to South Carolina, he ended up switching to defense and playing corner and safety because they already had another highly touted running back, Marcus Lattimore.
Yeah.
So, kept getting knee injuries, and then he got his shot in the NFL with the 49ers, and then he had another one. But that kid could run the rock.
Yeah, he was so good that he had a devastating knee injury late into the season and still got drafted.
Off
of it, like, and
Gilmore, who was a dope running back, switched to defense.
And Kerry, you forget they allowed him to. They redshirted him in the NFL. We're going to pay you to sit there and get healthy.
So think about this.
Wow.
They had Marcus Lattimore, Stephon Gilmore, Alshon Jeffrey,
Lou Holtz, baby. Lou Holtz.
They had a squad.
Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz, and then the Visor used to coach at South Carolina.
Yeah, he did.
They had a couple really good coaches and just not national success.
Exactly.
Marcus Lattimore. Speaking of another player, it wasn't an injury, but that I would have loved to have seen actually just play out his career. Lawrence Phillips, man.
Oh man. Now, see, Lawrence liked to hit the hole, and then he liked to hit the hose. So he did it to himself, and then karma's a bitch because they got his ass in prison. So,
but he could really play football, man.
But he could really play. Him,
Tommy Frazier.
You didn't have to throw. Let's look how ill that Nebraska team was, where you didn't have to throw, and they're going against a Miami team who has nothing but fucking future NFL stars, and running it down their throats. You know Tommy Frazier is going to run the rock. It doesn't matter. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 15. They're not trying to throw the ball. They gonna run that rock.
So the younger people like Colton, my nephew, being a WVU fan, they have seen the smaller, faster iteration of that in Pat White and Steve Slation, but the bigger, more gangster, going to smack the shit out of you after the game and your hoe version was Tommy Frazier and Lawrence Phillips, man.
And Amon Green.
Yo, with that widow's peak. He had the ill widow's peak. Yo, so the craziest thing about that Nebraska team, if my photographic memory serves me correct, dude, they averaged almost 60 points a game that year.
Were crushing teams. Yeah, they were. It was disgusting what they were doing to teams, because also they had studs on defense. I mean,
the black shirts. That's what they were known as, the black shirts.
They just were thumping people. Listen, they had Scott Frost after Tommy Frazier, and after Tommy Frazier, unfortunately, blood clots and all that, he couldn't really stick around. And then Scott Frost, like, they had these quarterbacks who couldn't really throw, but they ran so well that they just made it to the league. And they were like, well, he got drafted, and he ended up playing safety, ended up staying in the league almost 8 years.
Yeah, good career for him. Good for you, Scott Frost. And now he's the coach back in Nebraska.
Now he's the coach back in Nebraska.
Good for you.
Yeah, team. Undefeated.
Yeah, good for you. So it's funny because in my fantasy, before I saw the weather, I actually had Derek Carr, and then I saw the weather and instantly switched over back to Herbert. And because did you watch any of the highlights from the Raiders and Browns?
I saw a little bit.
Did you see the missed field goal? Homie aimed to the right. Homie for Vegas aimed for the right crossbar, and the wind blew it all the way to the left. That's how hard, 55-mile-an-hour wind. So that's why I got rid of Carr, because that game was ugly, and that's why I ended up 16-6, and that's why we're not going to talk anymore about that one, because we don't know nothing about that game. It was fucking 50-mile-an-hour winds. It doesn't mean anything.
But Jarvis Landry did make a sweet one-handed catch.
Yeah. Well, you expect things like that from him. Josh Jacobs, big game, whatever. Everyone else, low numbers to be expected.
I saw Vegas winning that easily. That matchup was just like Cleveland. It was just an ugly matchup for Cleveland.
Yeah, especially with even with that weather, Odell wouldn't have mattered. You would have had to get the ball in reverses. That would have been about it.
Still chosen Vegas.
Which we all did anyway, except Colton. Indy and Detroit, good pick on you. Detroit gets me once again because I just cannot trust Phillip Rivers to not throw 9 interceptions a game.
See, remember earlier in the season, I was not picking Indy at all. So then I switched it up. I was like, Indy's going to come through this week.
I was on Indy.
You were. I switched it up. And Wilkins, the backup, gets busy. And then also showed us his best Simone Biles in the end zone. So good for him.
Oh, that was incredible. That was incredible. I'm so happy that they're allowed to celebrate in the NFL.
I mean, Simone Biles tweeted him like, wow, that was impressive.
Dude, when he nailed it, I was just like, dude, he's in full uniform.
Full gear. I'm like, damn, dude, you strong.
Yeah, that was super impressive. But speaking of the Lions, I don't know who they play this week coming up, but we'll look it up in a second. But Matthew Stafford's got the Roni, so.
No, he's got the Rona, but here's what they're saying. They're saying he was like in a dangerous sort of a situation. He was like Rona adjacent. He may not have it. So if
I got to roll up to that one. I'm Rona adjacent, man.
So if he tests negative on Sunday, he's going to play.
They're going to have to do that because they are nothing without him. Yeah. What a really, really gutty. I will make sure that I remember Matthew Stafford's career while everyone else forgets it, because he is one really tough player to go through that and have that much personal success.
And here's another thing about him. Remember him coming out of Georgia? Like, a lot of pundits were saying, like, this guy has amazing arm talent. Like, he's one of the best I've ever seen. And he gets to Detroit, and early on, you see it. He's like bringing. If you remember his rookie year, he was bringing the Lions back all the time.
Got a long throw though. Long throw.
Yeah.
A lot of hits he takes.
So he takes a lot of hits, but he was scrappy. I remember like a game against Dallas, like he brought him all the way back and won in the last seconds. Like this dude is really good. Then his wife had issues with cancer and brain.
It's another thing, yeah, all that he goes through.
Nice. I mean, this dude has been going, and he lives in Detroit. This dude is going through a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I give him a lot of props.
I like how you saved the worst for last. Wife going through cancer, playing on the Lions, injuries, all that, and he does live in Detroit. Like, fuck.
Shout out to Detroit, but y'all know what it is. Yeah, so I do give him credit too. Detroit is one of those teams. They'll always have one like amazing Hall of Fame sort of thing that no one else in the league has, and they can never take advantage of it. Barry Sanders,
Calvin
Johnson, Megatron. I mean, they just never can get. I mean, they just can never get it. It's so sad to see. I mean, one year they'll have a pretty damn good defense, and then they just can't figure it out offensively.
So here's a question I have for you regarding Detroit. Since Brian Flores is having such resounding success in Miami, like clearly he knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know football, dude. We know that. Okay, he's got it. He's got it for real. They play for him. He makes good decisions. They are outperforming their roster consistently. Since he's having so much success, do you think the leash on Matt Patricia is just they let it go out a little bit longer because of Flores' success? They're looking down there like, man, he could do it too, but he can't do it. He can't do it.
I'll tell you what. Like I said earlier, I was surprised that they retained Matt Patricia, but then I also told you Matt Patricia did himself a big favor earlier when he bonded with the players on social issues, and then I feel like that gave him extra rope and leash, not only with the players but with the city and everybody. So now they were saying his name differently because of the way he handled that whole situation. But now, as we get along in the season, that only gives you but so much time.
Got to win in the NFL, man. Got to win.
You got to get these dubs.
All right, so yeah, we'll
going to get fired last year, to be honest with you. I was surprised that he even made it to this.
Yeah, me too. So I don't think we'll just see how they pan out. I really don't expect him to keep his job because I keep picking the Lions, and they keeps fucking me over. So fuck you, Matt Patricia.
His job.
And you could just Malcolm Butler's not on the field. You can't stop Philly. Just Malcolm Butler, the whole game, they're just destroying you. Matthews is destroying you. Matt Patricia, you can't figure this out.
Well, let me tell you something.
I think
Matt Patricia, I know that's the hoodie and all that. I'm just like, listen, son, how you not gonna have me put my best player on the field in the Super Bowl? I don't give a shit. What's going on, but y'all need to figure it out.
I think I finally cracked what happened and why Malcolm Butler's that. This is the only. I've been thinking about this for years. I think I finally figured it out.
He nailed the hoodie's wife.
Nah. So Matt Patricia was probably feeling himself because defense in New England's always relevant and good because the hoodie is always on like Lord knows the defense, and a lot of defensive coordinators have gone on to get gigs, and positional coaches have gotten gigs somewhere else just because you were on New England's defense. So I'm thinking that they probably got into an argument once, and Matt Patricia said some shit and was feeling himself, and Bill Belichick probably looked at him and said, well, without Malcolm Butler, you wouldn't be shit because Malcolm Butler saved them in that Super Bowl, right? And then Matt Patricia said some shit, and Bill Belichick was probably like, oh, yeah, we'll see. And then just sat him and was just like, let's see what you can do without the best, at that time, was the best player on our defense.
Absolutely.
That's the only theory I can come up with, dude.
Like all pro level that year.
Yeah.
So I thought he was hurt, and then just somebody was butthurt, but I didn't. That was like, yeah.
He had the most pass breakups in the NFL that season.
Absolutely did. If I'm a New England fan, I can never forgive him for that.
I will never forgive him, but dude,
I had 500 yards out of Brady, never punted. never punt. You supposed to win that game.
That's what I'm saying. So this is my only theory. I'm thinking that he was just like, all right, you ain't shit without Malcolm Butler saved you because he won you that Super Bowl because Russell Wilson was doing Russell Wilson things up and down the field. And that's the only thing I can come up with because nothing else makes sense.
Yeah, that was a travesty. I was hurt behind that.
I'm just sitting there watching it like,
I just didn't understand, especially just as a football former player and just a lover of the game. I'm like, how do you not have your best player on defense on the field?
I'm just watching Jordan Matthews fucking go up and down the field, turn himself into a household name in the Super Bowl. Like,
what happened to that guy?
Exactly.
He had so much promise. Like, I saw him at Vandy, and I was like, oh, this kid's going to be a player in the league. And he was until he wasn't. I understand how you just fall off that sharply. That was weird.
All right, so speaking of falling off very sharply, Green Bay Super Bowl hopes in my mind because, boy, they just don't have a roster that can compete with top-level teams. And look what Dalvin Cook did to them.
Yeah, listen, Dalvin Cook brought his knives. They were all sharpened. He brought them Ginsus, baby, and he sliced and diced that defense. I mean, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 1 through the air. Elite company of the running back. He's on a list with Marshall Faulk.
He's on the list with Marshall Faulk and Al Bundy.
Sean Alexander. You know what I'm saying?
Al Bundy.
Yeah, and Al, exactly.
4 touchdowns in one game, yo.
He's gonna be telling this story forever, ever. It's straight off the injury list. So,
and
I mean,
on 4 consecutive possessions.
That's just stupid.
He beat them by himself.
He did.
Because they were all long touchdowns too. It was crazy.
I looked at Cousins' numbers afterward, and I was like, "Oh, Cousins ain't do shit." What helped Cousins was the one pass he threw to Dalvin Cook. So,
well, that's the recipe for a victory in Minnesota: is get the ball out of Kirk Cousins' hands. Don't let him make decisions.
And it's the ultimate kryptonite for Green Bay because they cannot stop
at all. I should have known better. I should have taken Dalvin Cook. I would have won a lot more money.
I didn't know Cook was back. I thought it was still going to be Madison.
I didn't have time to look at the injury reports. I just had time to look at defensive rankings and shit, and that was it.
I need to see who's going to actually play the game.
This season, you have to look at the injury report above all other years. So, New York and Kansas City, we're not going to talk about it. Who cares? Adam Gase still has his job 1 more week into it.
I will say this, though. I thought differently about it because I thought it was just going to pound them into the earth. I thought they were going to do ground and pound. I thought they would just give the rock to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and then let Le'Veon do his thing. And then Patrick Mahomes throws 5 touchdowns. I was like, yeah, right.
I mean, I guessed wrong on that too because I would have taken Patrick Mahomes, but I thought they would just be like, we don't even need to use him this week.
That's what I thought. I thought Patrick Mahomes would be on the bench by the second half.
Nope, they went for the throat early. They just went for the kill shot early.
But the thing of it is that I also failed to factor in that Patrick Mahomes only had 200 yards passing the previous week, and he was like, "Yo, coach, I need to get it in this week. I got to catch up to Russ."
And this would be the week where. Yeah, this would be the week where you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's giving piggyback rides to Tyreek Hill. I mean, they just clowning.
Well, speaking of piggybacks, I will pat myself on the back for this, what looks like a bold pick, but this was an easy one for me, Miami and the Rams. I'm surprised that you didn't pick this one because Miami does play well. The question was, would the team be angry about the Fitzmagic thing and not rally around Tua, or would the team rally around Tua? They didn't rally around Tua because they didn't even use the kid. They rallied around themselves and the coach, and I bet on the coach, and I was right.
That's what it was.
And you forgot to factor in one thing. Brian Flores' run defense shut down Sean McVay's all-world offense in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He already has the game plan, and he did it again. He made Goff look terrible again.
He did. Well, you know what I was banking on? I was banking on the Rams defense, and because you know they were inspired by Aaron Donald and all that, even though they went up against an inept Chicago offense the week before, and I get that. And then it didn't help that Jalen Ramsey got hurt in the first quarter. It didn't help, they just looked. The offense couldn't do shit, and so the defense just was out there for way too long. And then also Miami scored on special teams.
I bet on the team to rally, and that was just the right bet on mine because it wasn't Tua that rallied. It was the team, defense, special teams, and coaching.
It was full.
The whole Brian Flores already having Sean
had a good game.
Yeah, having Sean McVay's number already. I just kind of bet on that one.
That was a good one.
Yeah, well, that one just saved me from the other disasters that I had. Pittsburgh and Baltimore, good game.
Oh, yeah.
But once again, it's been proven that Lamar Jackson cannot play in big games where he has to throw it against other elite quarterbacks who are throwing it up and down the field.
But here's another interesting perspective on that. So, yes, did they tailor the offense for Lamar Jackson's strength? Absolutely. Smart move. However, you have an offensive line, who are excellent run blockers. But pass blocking, so when you have Lamar, so I think they count on him to buy more time back there himself to try to create when he has to pass. When he doesn't get clean passing pockets all the time. And so when he is actually trying to stand back there and to see downfield, he's already in scramble mode. They're a way better pass blocking team than they are.
And those receivers.
Than the pass blocking team. And then the receivers are just not. I mean, you got Hollywood Brown who has speed. You got guys with speed, but they're not great route runners. Let's just be honest. The best route runner, their best receivers, their tight end.
Well, their best receiver is now their practice squad receiver.
Oh yeah, Dez Bryant. Yeah.
Welcome back, Dez.
I
am a huge Dez Bryant fan.
I'm eager to see. The only problem I ever had with Dez Bryant is that he was playing on the wrong team.
Exactly.
That's it.
The star on his helmet, everything else, I loved it.
I love that dude. Dez Bryant could play for my squad any day of the week. That dude goes hard. And even though, I'll be honest with you, even though you know how I feel about Dallas, that was a touchdown against Green Bay in that playoff game. I was like, God damn it.
If a running back is running for more than that 2 steps and reaches the ball, it only has to touch the line. So I don't know why, by rule, when he crossed the line with it, it wasn't a catch.
That was a catch and a touchdown.
I
like the way the ruling went, but honestly, it was wrong. And that guy's a beast. And
super beast.
I hope.
Look at the narrative change.
You know what I hope that he is the TO to Lamar Jackson's Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that sort of chemistry can work. I mean, Donovan McNabb was an excellent passer, but I just hope that they can kind of build that sort of thing. He needed a strong receiver because these young guys they're just not. I mean, the veteran he has is Willie Snead, and Willie Snead made his name because he played with Drew Brees.
Yeah. So, look at the narrative change that would have happened in a few careers had that been called a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go on to possibly win the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Romo looks completely different. Dez Bryant looks completely different. Jason Garrett looks different.
Statue in front of Dallas Stadium.
Exactly. Whole career changes off a referee decision.
He would have a statue.
Jason Witten's got a ring.
Dez Bryant is the new Michael Irvin, the new, better, stronger, faster Michael Irvin. Yeah.
Jason Garrett looks like a competent coach.
Absolutely. He's still in Dallas at this time.
Whole narrative changes with that because they probably actually do, with that roster, go on to win the Super Bowl.
That's what I was hoping Green Bay beat them, because if Green Bay didn't do it, I was like, I think they're going to win it all.
Yeah.
And I could not bear to see that.
Yeah, and I was always a Tony Romo fan because on the field, the kid could play the game. He could really play. And
sure could. I mean, you know how I feel about that team. But Tony Romo, especially being a third string, and Parcells saw it, and you know how it broke my heart that Parcells coached him. but I still paid a lot of attention to them because he did coach them. And when he saw Tony, he just saw something, and I was like, ooh, he put him in. Dallas is about to change. Dallas is about to start winning some games. This kid got something about him. He got something about him.
Yeah, if they win that they go on to win that Super Bowl. He looks like he would be that next era right behind the Kurt Warner, because he had the same throwing motion as Kurt Warner.
Sure, but he could run like he was so.
He had shifty shoulders in the pocket. Woo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like even talking about him, you gotta move like that because he was so unorthodox. You think you have him, and then he just does like a slight little thing, and he slips, and then he just like does that shit. And of course, Witten cried when Tony Romo retired. Witten was like, I don't know how much longer I'll play this game because he made Witten the greatest tight end of all time. Yo, that was like the greatest third down conversion tight end of all time.
Well, now you'll get some masochistic joy of watching Pittsburgh's defense that just beat Baltimore go up against an absolutely undermanned and outgunned Dallas team. It's going to be a laughing stock. I wonder
what the practice squad quarterback is on Dallas.
So this might be the first time in fantasy sports history that whatever your salary cap is, that the Pittsburgh's defense is going to be like $10,000 instead of like 2 or 3 like defenses usually are. Yeah. Because everybody's going to take them. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
Just off the sack numbers alone, that's going to happen. Sack fumbles, oh my God, it's going to be so ugly. I will say that Zeke is going to get a bunch of carries. You can guarantee that, because what else are they going to do?
But here's the thing. What the Steelers have shown us is that they will take away what you do best.
Yeah. No, it's going to be ugly.
Especially the run. And they like their pass defense is iffy, but their run defense is stellar.
Yeah,
so they shut down the run, and then they get you into a passing situation, and then forget it. You got T.J. Watt and Bud Dupree. You're done. You're finished.
And whoever that kid that's replaced Devin Bush in the middle linebacker, that guy is going to have CTE by the end of this year.
Yeah, but guess what? They just picked up Avery Williamson from the Jets, so they just so we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see the Avery Williamson who played for Tennessee, but even a better version of that.
Course, now that's just insurance, because they were watching this white kid, whatever he is. They were like, "Yo, his guy's going to give himself a concussion next week." All he does is just throw his face in as hard as he can on every play. It's incredible.
They probably saw that and was like, "Yeah, this is going to last. We need to get someone in here who really can who can stand up and be there for us."
That guy is one of those guys that used to spit in each other's mouths in pregame and shit. He's one of those types, dude.
Like, what's his face in the program?
Latimer.
Latimer in the program.
So we were talking about Herbert earlier, and once again, I don't know why we keep picking the Chargers to win because of Herbert's talent. We see it.
That's what it is.
But boy, that team, that coach has got to be. Anthony Lynn's got to go. He's got to go.
Here's the thing. The players love Anthony Lynn. Let's just keep it funky. I really like Anthony Lynn. The thing of it is that the Chargers organizationally, at some point in time, have been cursed. This goes back to the 90s.
Yeah.
This goes way back. This goes back, I think, and this is what I'll say, I think it's the curse of Drew Brees. When they said Drew Brees could no longer play this game, and then they already had a young Phillip Rivers right behind him ready to go, when Drew Brees and first got on that team, they're like, oh, we're going to win multiple championships. First of all, that was one of the best drafts ever for them. They got Drew Brees and they got LaDainian Tomlinson. You keep those two together. Yeah, Drew's arm was like this. You wait and see. It's Drew Brees. You fucked yourself because you already drafted. First of all, you were looking at Eli, and then you drafted Phillip Rivers when you had a young Drew Brees. So since then they've been cursed. Your team
And
celebrated.
and you
Celebrated.
and you could have leaned on LT. You didn't even have to lean on Drew's
You
arm.
could have leaned on him. You could have waited to see what the situation was. So I'm telling you, it's the curse of Drew Brees. They've never been the same since. They've gone to multiple AFC Championships games. They had your team beat. Guy picked, I forget the poor defensive back's name, picked it off, had it. All he had to do was go down. Just go down. For some reason, he decided to run with it. Fumbles. You guys get the ball back and win the game. And that happened multiple times against your team in particular.
Yep.
I mean, I give Phillip Rivers credit. He came back from an ACL surgery and played in that AFC Championship game a week later against you guys. I mean,
A week after surgery, people.
G status forever from me because of that shit. But they've always been snake bitten because of the curse of Drew Brees.
I can believe that. So talking about narrative changes earlier, look at the narrative changes and how many alternate realities this one decision makes if Drew Brees picking New Orleans over Miami. Say he goes to Miami and Nick Saban, they win because it's Drew Brees, and Nick Saban stays in the NFL and doesn't go down to Alabama. And then New Orleans never wins a Super Bowl, and look at it. All these changes.
So now you're probably looking at either Georgia or Clemson being the dominant power of the SEC for all these years, or even Auburn. Like, it doesn't matter. It just flips. It just keeps flipping.
So many narrative changes because Drew Brees said, "Nah, I'm going to go to New Orleans," because he wanted to help build the city. Shout out to Drew Brees for being a good dude, man.
Yeah. And he's a true saint down there.
True, indeed. Denver, Drew Lock.
Listen, the thing of it is that
He likes himself.
he does. He feel himself. Listen, he uses a lot of product in his hair before he goes out to put a helmet on it.
But quarterbacks who like themselves also play well in moments like that.
Sure, and he was also coming off of injury, and so he felt like he had some making up to do. The thing with Denver is, and another reason why I chose the Chargers is because I don't know what their roster is.
I mean, I can end this right here. This whole Denver and Chargers debate, I don't even think it had anything to do with Denver. It is the Chargers' ability to blow games.
It's the curse of Drew Brees.
All right, so we'll move on to Drew Brees, actually. Overtime game. Good game.
Yeah.
Good game.
Good. Yeah, better. Yeah, and I told you, like, that was a trap game.
Yeah,
because it could have really gone either way, and we saw that early. The Bears were doing things. The Bears. Here's the thing: that Bears defense is going to keep them in way more games than they should be in because that offense is abysmal.
I actually picked the Bears just because the Saints roster was missing so many people on offense. I thought that the Bears defense would hold them to under 24 points. And
here's the thing, Drew.
They did until overtime.
And Drew Brees was like, "Here, so check this out. I have Alvin Kamara. I can throw to Alvin Kamara. I can hand the ball off to Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara, Alvin Kamara, Alvin Kamara." Like, so I was like, Drew Brees, please throw to your wide receivers. I was begging for him to throw to Traquan Smith because that's who I had on my squad. I was like, just throw to your wide receiver one time, please.
I had Jordan Reed, so the whole fourth quarter.
Well, Jared Cook.
I mean, so the whole fourth quarter and the entire overtime, I'm like, just throw it. I just need, I swear to God, Carrie, on my FanDuel double ups, there were 3 of them that I bet on. I was literally the cut line. I needed one more fucking yard from this guy, and he ended up throwing it to somebody I've never heard of before, and I'm just
Yeah. But I mean, Cook did get
yeah.
Like, Cook was looking real good in that game, actually.
That's why I picked him, because no Michael Thomas. And actually, let's say fuck going to this game because I hate the Bears and I hate Nick Foles because he's a Brady killer. The interesting thing that I want to talk to you, and there's 2 things I want to talk to you about this game. One off the field, one on the field. Off the field, Michael Thomas still not being on the field.
So there's a deeper thing here because he did. So the same dude who got snapped up by Wims is the same dude who got smacked up by Michael Thomas. So as I'm looking at a situation and there's one thing that remains constant in the equation, which is that dude.
That
and
dude.
I don't trust hyphenated dudes anyway. When you
Yeah,
have a
if Nice was here, I bet you he would be his guy.
I don't trust hyphenates. I don't trust you guys. So he got smacked up again. And then so Wim saying that this dude spit on him. Well, listen, if someone says that someone spit on them, I am more apt to believe the person who say they got spit on than the person who say they didn't do it. I believe the person who got spat on. Like, so I believe that dude. And Michael Thomas, we got to really think about this. Michael Thomas never got into any sort of trouble in all his years before this. Never. Model citizen in the league. Now this dude on the team, and he wants to Michael Westbrook this dude.
2 shots.
Like what Michael Westbrook did.
Yo, the first one was hilarious where he hit him and then recoiled
Well,
and
first
then
of all, no. He was so polite about it.
Yeah.
Because he tapped him first.
Yeah.
He was like, excuse me, homie. Bang.
and then he sat there. That shit was hilarious.
No. So yeah, I think because the team didn't take Michael Thomas's word at whatever that altercation was, he probably was like, yo, the reason why I acted like this is because Son did this to me. And because the Saints didn't take his side, their all-pro receiver who they just, you know what I'm saying? Like, right? He was like, oh, you want to take this cat side? Like, nobody know. Oh, okay, cool. Well, guess what? I think my injury is just going to last a little bit longer now.
Yeah, interesting, but they still pulled that one out. So shout out to Drew Brees. That's why you're in the Hall of Fame. That's why you and Tom Brady are having a very Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa-esque run at the touchdown record. Because this will be Drew Brees' last year, and Tom Brady's going to keep playing. So Drew's just trying to do – it's fun. Nobody's really talking about it. It just kind of keeps happening as like a side note.
It's popping up a little bit.
But for football heads like ourselves, it's really interesting to see them because I know that both of them are very, very confident that this is going on.
Especially Tom Brady. He's not trying – like, he was not trying to run the rock against the G's late in the game. He was trying to throw that thing into the end zone, for sure.
Which is another reason why I think that game was kind of a little bit closer than it was, because I think Tom's really like trying to force something like, we can get this one.
He was, but also the G's, like Leonard Fournette went nowhere.
Well, we've been talking about it all year. A very underrated defense. Very underrated defense.
But again, and also what we've been talking about, Danny Dum Dum is getting paid by. So they looked at the Giants' schedule, and all the teams who were playing the Giants this year, they were like, we're just going to give a little piece to Danny Dum Dum. We're just going to give him a little game check. He's going to give us the rock. That's what it seems like, because he has given it up to every single team in the league that they played. He has turned the rock over in, well, I think what they said, 9 consecutive games. I don't even know.
That's incredible.
He's turned the rock over so much, I can't remember the last game where he had a clean game.
It was last year.
Yeah, okay, sure. Maybe. But I know that he's turned it over not just once, but multiple times in situations that are so stupid.
Yeah.
They just throw the shit away. Like the play's dead. I'll even take the sack. Take the sack.
Lots of fumbles. Lots of fumbles. But when your defense, who let's just be honest, we have a no-name defense. Yeah, we got Bradbury, we got Martinez, Leonard Williams is having a career resurgence, but we have a back in the day. Now this is a back in the day, y'all. Jabril Peppers.
Miami no-name defense.
Jabril Peppers,
right? A no-name defense who eventually went undefeated with their backup quarterback Earl Morrell, and then Greasy came in and won the Super Bowl. But a no-name defense who is playing well above their pay grade, you cannot give the other team, especially when they have the GOAT at quarterback, the ball and the GOAT connection. Especially the GOAT quarterback tight end connection of Thomas Brady and Gronkowski, who is the syrup apparently and not the butter. But that's a whole nother thing.
I mean, whatever. Gronk can
so-
say whatever he wants.
Sure. So what I'm saying is and this is, if you look at the Giants season in totality, that is the same exact narrative over and over again. Danny Dum Dum, yes, he will give you a play. He will give you like 2-3 plays where you say, okay. But then he'll give you those other 2 or 3 plays like, Jesus Christ, who are you? Like,
So, betting wise, I definitely would have hammered that the Giants were going, that whatever the spread was, it was going to be closer than that. Yeah, it was going to be closer because you know what? It's just the Giants and Tom Brady. This is what you get.
They got a thing going on. If you see in the sidelines, Blaine Gabbert, so here's the thing. All the shit that Dum Dum did, he throws an absolute dime to Golden Taint in the end zone. But then the very next play throws late to a wide open Deion Lewis. They tie that game up easily. I've never seen an easier 2-point conversion. Like, really.
All right,
It was
so
right there.
all right, so this is one. It's 3:33 somewhere in the world. So this is where I talked about Bruce Arians' coaching style and influence on the team, playing down to an opponent. Where the Patriots don't do things like that. Tom Brady wouldn't do things like that. In the last 2 weeks, the Bucks have performed extremely well, and all of a sudden they get to the second worst team in the NFL and get into a dogfight. And I'm watching the Bucks all season because of Brady, and the Bucks players outside of Thomas Edward Brady looked awful disinterested in this football game for most of it.
Because they looked at our record.
Exactly, and that's Bruce Arians, and I talked about it early in the year. The Bruce Arians. This isn't Belichick. This is Arians now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we won it. Well, excuse me, not we. Tom Brady. They won it. Let's go Bucks. Yeah, I know. I can't. I told you until Tom Brady's gone, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I did the same thing with the.
Steve Levy called him New England multiple times during the broadcast. He was like, New England. I mean, the Tampa Bay. they just see Tom Brady as New England.
I did the same thing with Tim Duncan, man. I thought I was a Spurs fan. I was a Tim Duncan fan, and then once he was gone, I was like, I still like the way the organization is run. I've become a fan, but I'm not really a Spurs fan. Right. You know, so but that's the Arians effect.
But I will say this, even though what Parcells says is true, you are what your record says you are. The Giants, bar none, is the toughest 1-6 team in the league. They are not an easy out. I mean, Danny Dum Dum makes it very hard for us to win.
Well,
games.
there are quite a few 1-6 teams in the league, and you're right, the other ones suck. So let's.
Yeah, we actually could win games, and if you look at the last 3 games the Giants played, we've lost by a total of 7-8 points.
Yeah, so speaking of 1-6 teams that suck, let's look at some 1-6 teams that suck going into next week. Thursday night, Green Bay at San Francisco. Injury depleted, no George Kittle for the rest of the year. Garoppolo's done basically. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers.
But whoever San Francisco's running back is, expect them to have a very big game.
He's going to be Jermichael Hasty.
Yeah, whoever it is, they're going to have a good game. Let's move on to Sunday.
But also no Deebo Samuel. So
exactly. Lots of running in that one against a very, very terrible run defense. So lots of running in that one. Yep. Denver at Atlanta. That's really a tough game to pick because who knows what you're getting with either of those teams. That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
Oh my God! Yeah, I don't even know what to do there. That's
You know what? Here's what I'll do. Since we're gonna go with coaches, I'm gonna go with Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris now is getting his second.
Didn't
shot.
he coach Denver?
Yeah.
Oh so yeah. Good pick.
Getting his second shot, and I feel like he wants redemption. He's been aggressive.
Good pick. I'll go with that.
They got their first taste again. He got his first taste as a win, being under them. And let me tell you something. Arthur Blank is he's a different type of Jerry Jones, the owner who comes down to the field and then watches the team like this, like y'all motherfuckers. I'm here now. I'm watching He was like, I'm watching everybody.
Yo, he looked like a Muppet during the Super Bowl when he was celebrating.
Yeah, I know. I saw that shit. But I mean, like, he's down on the field like the water boy better not fuck up because I will replace him. So I feel like Raheem Morris is going to have them boys ready. So I'm going to go with Atlanta.
You know, that's a good pick. And just for the sole reason that the team has a reason to rally behind their coach, he can have bulletin board material all day long or all week long. Good pick. And outside of rosters, if Denver has Courtland Sutton back and everybody healthy, then that's even an easier pick. But even at current rosters, good pick. That's a wise one. Seattle at Buffalo. Who is Buffalo? That's the real question.
I don't even know.
Are they a middle of the road team, not good against elite teams and just beat up bad teams? I don't fucking know. I don't know who they are right now.
Yeah,
it is in Buffalo, so the wind, the weather will be a factor, but the weather doesn't affect Russell Wilson, so who cares? And they do have
Seattle.
And they do have it's in Buffalo, and they do have DK Metcalf, and that's all you need.
True. You know what? The thing I was a little disappointed in Seattle that they got Carlos Dunlap, but they need more on D. I mean, I think they're just banking on Jamal Adams coming back at some point.
Gilmore would have been a good trade for them to get. Would have been Gilmore.
Yeah, that would have been really good because also Griffin is hurt.
Yeah,
he's been kind of getting banged up, so they need another piece. While Russell is playing phenomenally, I just don't see good things for them in the future.
So here's an interesting trend, though. What up, Lee? Russell Wilson, his record in games in New York, the state of New York, is like 8-1 or 9-1 or something. So he has absolutely no issue traveling, and neither does Seattle apparently. So that's, to me, I'm running.
Yeah, he's used to the weather.
I'm running with Seattle, and I bet you that Buffalo will probably have a 2.5 point spread on this game. So I would take that with Seattle. Chicago at Tennessee. I'm not picking Chicago ever again. I don't care. And watch them beat Tennessee because I don't fucking pick them.
No,
they're not going to because Tennessee is extremely well coached and very well put together.
They got the addition of Desmond King. I'm going with Tennessee.
And you got Derrick Henry you can win. Yeah, so
they're gonna be pissed off Derrick Henry.
So this is a real interesting game. This is a couple good matchups this week. Baltimore at Indy. This is interesting because Baltimore's coming off a loss and has been exposed as not being able to throw the ball, and Indy is actually playing pretty good. It's all on Phillip Rivers' turnover machine.
It is because Phillip will give it up to you.
Yo, Phillip Rivers' turnovers are like the McDonald's ice cream machine. It's just whether or not it's on or not.
There was a time where any defense that was going against Phillip Rivers, I would pick up because I was saying he's going to give it up to him. He's just going to do it. Like, it doesn't matter. He'll have 363 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 3 interceptions and a fumble. So, is that a good game?
Yeah, I actually think depending on what Dez Bryant's roster spot this week looks like, might go with Indy on this one.
They still have him on the practice squad. My only fear was just that
they might try to force him too much.
What kind of is there going to be enough practice time with him and Lamar to really get familiar? Like Lamar actually practiced with AB. Like they have legit practice.
All right, so here's my question: do you not think that at some point in time that Lamar was working out with Dez Bryant and Hollywood at the same time? Like when he's working out with Hollywood, you think that Dez isn't there already?
Maybe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that might have happened, which made this signing easier because they already have a little bit. I'm sure Lamar.
I don't know what took him so long to make the move.
Well, I think Lamar might have had some input in being like, "Yo, I've been working out with him, but like, let's try it."
That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Dez being Dez. Like, yo, I'll take a practice roster spot. I don't give a fuck.
I love that.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, I think I might go with Indy on that one. Carolina at Kansas, it's not happening. Kansas City is on a roll. You're not stopping that offense right now. That's retarded.
Even with CMC coming back.
Yeah, and now, so the next game after that is a game of teams that just befuddle me, and it's going to be which team can blow a lead best. Detroit at Minnesota. Actually, if they keep giving it to Dalvin Cook, I'm just going to go with Minnesota.
I mean, just, you know, because Detroit. But
this is the type of game that Detroit wins, though.
Detroit, Galladay will have 3 touchdowns, 165 yards, and like Matthew Stafford with over 400 yards. It'll be stupid. Like even Danny Amendola will have like a touchdown and like 8 catches or some shit.
Yeah, this is the type of game Detroit wins. This is why I hate them right now.
Because it's in conference, it's just you got to throw out everything. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to look at that one.
I'm gonna have to look at that one. So your squad against the football team. I'm actually gonna go roll with your squad. I've picked them more than once this year.
Beats Washington. He has a thing. He knows how to beat them.
Yeah, totally. So Houston at Jacksonville. I'm gonna roll with Houston just because I heard that Uncle Rico has a couple broken bones in his hands.
He's gonna be out a few weeks.
Yeah, so there goes the magic behind that team whatsoever. So Houston will get a redemption win and get some. We're not that bad, but they are. They're playing terrible. I'm telling you, that J.J. Watt trade, that is something that I would absolutely love to see.
Also, teams are inquiring about Randall Cobb, and I had to look it up. Randall Cobb is only 30 years old.
It'd be a good look to go back to Green. It'd be a good look to go back to Green Bay.
I was gonna say, why not? They have a rapport already. Like, go back.
That fits.
I think it fits. Works.
That fits, and you're only trying to make a run this year. You know.
And I mean, like, people forget. Randall Cobb came out of Kentucky. He was a Swiss Army knife.
He was a little tiny Percy Harvin.
He was a running back. He was a returner. He was everything.
Yeah, he was a little tiny Percy Harvin.
Yeah.
So I would look for Houston to win that game. Vegas at the Chargers. I look for the Chargers to go up early and then find some way to lose this one.
Mm-hmm.
Big numbers from Herbert and Keenan Allen, but the Vegas will pull it out in the end, and then it'll just continue this year. That's just what they do. It was interesting to see the impact of not having Desmond King on that team, though. How that's going to.
I mean, at some point in time, I do believe that you got to make Ruggs is the primary target. I mean, you have Waller, sure, but I mean, Ruggs is faster than everybody.
Yeah.
So
everybody but Tyreek Hill.
Right. So but you see how KC has employed Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So you got to do the same thing with Ruggs.
And you have Darren Waller. You have Darth Waller.
And you have Jacobs. So just do it.
I look for the Chargers to go up early and then blow that lead. It's just what they do. We don't even need to talk about Pittsburgh at Dallas. That's retarded. Good game, interesting game, because now we get to get a second look at Miami with Tua, because the Dolphins at Arizona, which is a very good squad, and I'm not going to go with the magic of having Tua in for his first game being there anymore. It's just going to be football and football now.
And we're coming off of Arizona, who was just on a bye, so they got to rest. They have one of the best safeties in the league in Budda Baker.
Patrick Peterson.
And they got Patrick, and they got Vance Joseph as a defensive coordinator, who is going to put a shit ton of pressure on Tua. Look for Budda Baker to have a huge game. They're going to blitz the fuck out of Tua.
Well, they're going to have to, because Chandler Jones is out. So
that's what I'm saying. They're going to blitz,
create
Budda
pressure
Baker
somewhere else.
A humongous game. Watch what I say.
Yeah, I would go with Arizona on that one. And then Saints at Tampa. Interesting matchup, and I couldn't wait to talk about this one because New Orleans opening game of the year got Tampa Bay's number opening game, whatever, no training camps, we get it, whatever. But Tampa now has Tommy Foxborough's roommate is on the roster, so
I'm going to say this. So everyone glossed over, even myself included, New York and Tampa Bay game. I'm telling you, the New York Tampa Bay game is going to be the better game in comparison to this game. I don't really see that this is going to be much of a contest
at all.
I think Tampa Bay is just going to do what they got to do.
Well, not only that, this is the one team whose defense is the most equipped to handle Alvin Kamara because they have the two fastest middle linebackers in football. So one of them can just deal with it. So, and then you still have another one, direct shot. So this one's not going to be close. Whatever the spread is, hammer it. I think I'm going to hammer this one. Look for AB to at least have one touchdown, a bunch of looks because Tom will be like, nah, I'm getting him involved. I know how this works. I don't care if he's a diva. I've worked with him before. I'm here to win.
Yeah, they said somewhere like 10 plays, but it's probably going to be like 20 to 30 plays.
I bet you when they say 10 plays, that's more like 10 targets.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
AB's going to be in there.
Well, so another side note on that, the one thing that was said is the coaching staff is absolutely shocked at what the shape AB came in at.
Which I don't see why.
I'm not. I know you're not. He is renowned as the hardest worker in the NFL.
Bar none. Bar none. Bar none.
Look at all the dumb shit he does, and they kept letting him play. That's how hard he works.
Bar none. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a guy, he just work, because football is his actual life. He's a dunderhead. He's a dum-dum, sure, but football is his actual life. So
is there
a lifestyle every day? Just like T.O., football was his actual life.
Well, I was just about to ask you: is there a wide receiver initial curse? If you use initials as your name, or you just because literally, dude, they have the exact same career.
Yeah, I mean,
it's the exact same career.
Let me tell you something.
It's just he's smaller,
and through no fault of his own, because I feel like he's a lovely person. AJ Green is just snake bitten. Like when AJ Green and Julio Jones first came into the league, they were saying AJ Green was better. Now on draft, like right before draft night, I was in Times Square. I was walking with my boy
JJ Stokes,
and I saw, oh my God, got spat on by Romanowski. But I saw Julio Jones getting his caricature done, right? And I walked up on him and I was like, Julio Jones. I was like, listen. I said, I know everybody's saying AJ Green is the best receiver right now. I said, but you, son, are going to be the best receiver in the league. I see it. You are going to be a monster. You're going to blow up. I only wish that my team could pick you. And he was like, appreciate it and all that. And I walked off. And look at what we've seen. Yeah, Julio has had his injury issues, but as we've seen, the two careers in comparison, yes, AJ took off and was like all pro and everything very early, but he flamed out.
Nah, he didn't flame out. AJ Green is he's the offensive version of Patrick Willis. I'm going to come in the league, be first team all pro for 8 straight years, and then that's it. I'm done.
And then that's it.
I'm done.
Oh man, Patrick Willis, another one.
Just keep playing, dude. Just keep playing.
Also, Chris Borland.
We always say that. Don't forget Borland came in, played at an all-pro level behind there. See.
Oh my God.
But so a side note on that, that's also that little era of 49ers defense. It didn't matter which middle linebacker. Exactly. It didn't matter who played linebacker for them. No.
I mean, they just had monsters.
Yeah, but Kerry, it didn't matter which one it was. Whoever the middle linebacker was, you were the best linebacker in football. That team around them was incredible.
We're going to ball.
And Borland, Navarro Bowman, oh my God, Patrick Willis. Literally, I'm the best linebacker in football from day one until I step out.
From day one.
Almost made the 100 best players list after only 8 seasons.
I wouldn't have even blinked an eye at that. I'd have been like, yeah, I feel that.
Had there not been so many historic players, he actually would have been on there because talent-wise and production-wise, he should have been.
And young players out there, take care of your feet because let me tell you something. A toe has taken out legends. Deion Sanders,
Yep.
the best corner, period. Taken out. Turf toe. Turf toe will take your ass out. Take care of your feet.
Take care of your feet. So Monday Night Football, we don't even need to talk about. Patriots at Jets. Who fucking cares? No one cares.
I don't. Okay, so the scheduling gods. I don't. What were you thinking on this one? I know you didn't think the Jets were going to.
No, big market, and they thought the Jets might be like a 6-10 team, whatever. Big market. It's stupid. I don't want
That's what
to.
they thought. Okay, because of Le'Veon and Donald, but no.
No, so I appreciate you coming through, homie. I got a thing at 9 I gotta do. That's why I was rushing through the things this week.
I mean, I got some shit I got.
Well, yeah, no, I'm doing some. This dude is asked me to do an interview on his podcast, and I was just like, yeah, fuck it, I'm with it, without even knowing what he talks about. I'm just like, whatever, I'm with it. And then I go and look, and he's like into transhumanism and shit like that, and he's also interviewing Ray Kurzweil. So I'm gonna go play mental chess with Ray Kurzweil real quick and see if I could get them to hang up on me, because I am going in on them. All that transhumanism shit. Yo, fuck you, you motherfucker.
All right then. Well,
Interesting conversation that I gotta go do. It just kind of popped up out of nowhere, but I'm not gonna say no to this one.
That's gonna be,
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can record it and post it up later. I will keep you updated on how that went.
And I'm gonna do some auditions.
All right, word, homie. I appreciate your time, and next week we will be back at our regularly scheduled time on 2:00 at 8. Everybody, I'm gonna shut this one down and pop right back up. Kerry, you already know I'll talk to you, homie.
Oh.
Everybody else, I will shut this one down and open up a new one for this interview that I'm about to do in 6 minutes. So I will be right back with you guys, and apparently we're going to talk about some transhumanism and shit like that. 333 RIP.